Hey guys, it's Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern and not a minute later.
And you know what that means.
And that means it's just like every Tuesday for the past 20 years.
Yes.
WULFF DEN Podcast. Hi.
Hey.
It's me.
Us and me.
And him. Sorry, Twitch. I went live a little late on Twitch because I forgot to hit the button.
Because sometimes we just forget Twitch exists.
It's not that okay. On my other streaming setup, I hit one button and it goes live on both.
Right.
On this one, I have to hit two buttons.
Right.
And I forgot to hit the second button.
Well, this mic is like bouncing up.
You can blame your daughter.
I probably will. We gave her a tour, her and my son, the tour of the set on New Year's Eve. You ever hear the phrase "a bull in a china shop"? Let me tell you, that's what that was.
Farmer Gooch, thanks for the $10 right off the rip. Appreciate it. YouTube Live sucks. Glad we're here, says Twitch chat. I'm sorry. Next time I'll know better. Anyway. Oh, so much important information going on this week. Like, for example, we're gonna get a new we're gonna get a new Nintendo Switch.
Yes. But for real this time.
Supposedly.
For real this time. They mean it.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the boy who cried wolf.
Literally.
I'm one of the townspeople.
Right.
Because I've heard this a million times already.
Yeah, I feel like we'll get into it when we get into it, but like enough is enough.
Yeah. But I do genuinely think that it'll probably be
right.
this week. This just seems like a good week.
Yeah.
Because we just had CES.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't want to do it during CES.
Right.
No, they could have. It would have been the biggest thing that was announced that week.
There were companies doing it at CES.
Yes.
And there's some fallout from that we will get to.
Yes, definitely.
That is on the docket.
But yeah, let's just go right into.
All right, yeah. So, Nintendo may be getting ready to make its Switch 2 console official, according to industry whispers collected by Eurogamer, as well as reporting from The Verge's Tom Warren. The Switch 2 could be formally announced sometime this week. Eurogamer suggests the reveal is scheduled for Thursday, January 16th. The reporting also suggests that the reveal will focus mostly on the console's hardware design, with another game-centric announcement coming later. Eurogamer reports that the console won't be ready to launch until April. This would be similar to Nintendo's strategy for the original Switch, which was announced in mid-January 2017, but not launched until March. It was revealed in October of 2016, and then they did the full press conference in January 2017.
Did they just say the wrong thing?
Again? They should have clarified.
Yeah, that's
what we're saying
incorrect.
Is we're better journalists than the professionals at Ars Technica.
So they get some of these guys get the dates wrong.
They get
specifically the launch of the Nintendo Switch original. They messed that up a lot.
So what happened was in October of 2016, they did the reveal trailer for the Switch. That's when they showed what the console was. That's when they showed it was the hybrid console.
Yeah.
And they showed it was playing Breath of the Wild and Skyrim and a new Mario game. They didn't say anything about.
Skyrim.
I remember that day because that was also the day the Logan trailer dropped.
Oh.
And I did a mashup where I took the song from the Switch trailer to the Logan trailer, and it was really funny.
Okay.
That's just me. But then they did in January, that's when they did the full reveal. When they went into specs, they went into how much storage space it was going to have, what kind of chip was in it, the fact that it had USB-C. It went into more detail on the games that were coming out.
The ice and the Joy-Con.
Yeah.
Splatoon 2.
Yeah.
All that.
Yes. That was the January reveal, and then it was March. So it was
honestly a great announcement when they made the whole press conference reveal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty solid.
So it was a good rollout.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're repeating the same steps.
Well, maybe. We saw the Switch 1 in October.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen this yet.
Right.
So
maybe they assume since this isn't going to be that much different than the Switch 1.
Yeah.
They don't have to explain as much.
I think they're just a little late. Also, with the Switch 1, they really needed to get something out. And they didn't care if people they didn't care if it was going to cannibalize their holiday sales, because they weren't going to get any anyway.
Right.
for the Wii U sales. I'm seeing a lot of I don't want to change the subject, but I'm seeing a lot of discourse online about the people comparing this to the Wii and the Wii U, because the Switch 2 seems to be just the same thing as the Switch 1, but newer and bigger and a little different. It's like very similar. So people are comparing it to the Wii versus the Wii U, saying that since it's so similar, it could confuse people and cannibalize some sales. I think I
disagree.
Yeah, no, that's an insane take.
Yeah.
I think the Wii U failed because it was a dumbass concept from the very start.
Yeah.
It's just a bad idea.
I also don't think the Wii and the Wii U are that similar in terms of like what type of video game system they were. Like the Wii U could run all the Wii stuff and work with all the Wii accessories, but the idea behind it was fundamentally different. Well, it wasn't a multiplayer focused system. It was more of a single player focused system.
Well, that's I think what people's problem is that it seems like an accessory.
Yeah, that was the initial problem.
They really only showed the gamepad.
Yeah,
in the initial announcements of the Wii U.
Yeah.
So people are saying that people are misconstruing this, because they're saying that part of the reason the Wii U failed was because people were confused and thought it was an accessory, but really more so it was just a dumb idea and people didn't buy into the idea of using the gamepad. But people are saying that this might be too similar to the original Switch, and that might confuse people, but I don't think that's not the reason people were confused. People were confused because it looked like an accessory and it wasn't.
Yeah.
Also, it sounds like an accessory. The Wii U, it's like an attachment to your Wii. This is literally called the Switch 2.
Yes.
As far as we know. And there's not going to be any confusion like that. I keep saying, I don't know why this is so hard for people to understand. It's the DS to the 3DS.
Yeah.
That is such an easier comparison.
I think because like I think like at this point everyone's just used to Nintendo doing something wacky.
Yeah. Well, 3D was wacky.
That was wacky, yeah. But it was like DS, 3DS. It was like an easy transition.
Yeah.
Whereas Wii to the Wii U, that could have been an easy transition, but they did something wacky with it.
They did something a little too wacky. They went a little hard on the wacky there. And I don't blame them, because the Wii was wacky. It paid off. And there hasn't been anything like that since.
Yeah.
So they got a little too crazy after the Wii. But the DS to the 3DS, I mean, they're extremely similar. And the 3DS ended up selling an insane amount. So... I think that this will be a very similar situation, because the DS was incredibly popular. The 3DS just kind of kept that going. So also, this is gonna supposedly have a lot of backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
So there's really not going to be a lot of issue with people adopting a new system.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Switch, the original Switch, when that came out, there was 7 games.
Yeah.
So like people really didn't want to adopt a whole new platform initially. Anyway. Was that the whole article?
No, there's more.
This
Many things about the Switch 2's physical hardware design have been thoroughly leaked at this point, thanks mostly to accessory makers who have been showing off their upcoming cases. Genki at CES showed off a 3D printed replica of the console. We'll get to that. Suggesting a much larger but still familiar looking console design and button layout similar to the current Switch. On the inside, the console is set to sport a new NVIDIA designed ARM processor with a much more powerful GPU and more RAM than the current Switch. Dubbed T239, Eurogamer reports the chip includes a 1,536 CUDA cores based on the Ampere architecture, the same used in the 2020's GeForce RTX 30 series graphics cards on the PC. This might not sound terribly exciting for PC gamers, the best gamers. I'm a PC gamer because I have a Steam Deck. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. This is a 4+ year old architecture with fewer CUDA cores than the budget-minded RTX 3050. 2300 or 2500 cores, depending on the version you buy. However, the original Switch uses 256 GPU cores based on the 2014 Maxwell GPU architecture, just 1/6 as many cores based on a much older design. This new chip will give the Switch 2 a huge boost, relatively speaking. Ampere also opens the door to things like hardware acceleration, ray tracing, and DLSS upscaling, which NVIDIA just updated to improve transformer models. That should lead to improved image quality, even on older GPU architectures, if Nintendo and third-party developers take advantage of them. For nearly 8 years since the original Switch, and the console's internal specs haven't been updated since its launch. Console manufactured after mid-2019 included a chip made using a newer 16-nanometer manufacturing process, which boosted battery life, but mostly didn't affect performance. The rumored Switch Pro refresh with a beefed-up hardware was supposedly scuttled after the pandemic-era supply chain issues. The OLED version of the Switch we eventually got in late 2021 had a nicer screen, but the same chipset.
I'm also going to push back a little bit
Okay.
on DLSS upscaling. We just read about the patents that Nintendo's going to have their own upscaling.
Right.
So I'm not exactly sure if this NVIDIA chip is going to utilize any of the DLSS stuff that it's capable of, if it's even capable of it at all.
Well, if DLSS is an NVIDIA thing,
Yeah.
so it might have the capability to do it, but knowing Nintendo, they probably will go with their own proprietary bullshit.
They did launch the original Switch without the capability of Bluetooth audio.
Yeah.
And then like years later, it was like, oh, sorry, you
Yeah,
can
here
do
you
it
go.
now. Because it had Bluetooth.
Yeah.
They just didn't have it on
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Because pretty much every Wi-Fi chip these days has Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Just as part of it, and they just didn't use it.
Yeah.
For some reason. So anyway, I was a little busy during the beginning of this article. Did they mention that? Did they attribute the Thursday announcement to Nate the Hate at all?
Ars Technica did not. I believe Eurogamer.
The Verge's Tom Warren, the Switch 2 will be formally announced sometime this week. Eurogamer suggests the reveal is scheduled for Thursday. Okay.
Eurogamer, who Ars Technica said announced the date, they attribute it to Nate the Hate.
Eurogamer attributes. Okay, yeah, they do. That's weird.
Again,
just say Nate the Hate did it.
Ars Technica, not as good as the WULFF Den podcast.
That's so weird.
We officially have enemies now, and they are Ars Technica.
Hold on, I gotta read this again.
Okay.
Because I want to. Eurogamer suggests the reveal is scheduled for this Thursday.
And then you click on the
Eurogamer, and it's straight up. Industry whispers Eurogamer has heard over the past week have coalesced around the reveal this Thursday, the 16th of January, with a focus on the much-leaked console itself, rather than a deep dive into the software lineup. Today, these whispers were first mentioned publicly by Nate the Hate podcast, which previously leaked Microsoft's multi-platform publishing plans. Writing on social media, The Verge's Tom Warren confirmed he also understood Nintendo planned to reveal Switch 2 this week.
Mm-hmm.
So Nate is specifically saying Thursday, whereas Tom Warren is saying this week.
Yeah.
While Nintendo is yet to announce anything and announcement plans are always subject to change, the growing sense that this week is finally the week we officially see Switch 2 for the first time fits with what Eurogamer has previously heard of Nintendo's announcement timing. So Eurogamer is officially corroborating this rumor. I just think it makes sense that this week is the week. It's possible that there's just a bunch of people who are being like, it makes sense if it's this week.
Yeah,
because it just feels like a good week. It's the week after CES. We've been waiting for this to happen for a long time. We knew it was going to be after the holidays. Or we assumed it would be after the holidays. And right after the holidays was CES, and now is the time, basically.
So my question is, okay, yes, it's gonna. Let's say yes, Nintendo is going to announce the reveal of the Switch 2 on Thursday. It's currently Tuesday that we're recording it.
Yep.
Don't you think they would want to make say ahead of time, like, we're going to reveal the successor to the Switch on this day? Like,
I don't know.
How much lead time are they going to give us here?
I don't know. A lot of times Nintendo will say a day or two before that they're going to have a Nintendo Direct.
Right.
I don't know how they did the Switch 1. I think, didn't they just drop the trailer?
No, they announced it.
I think they just...
No, they said, we're going to reveal the successor to the Wii U on this date.
I don't remember them saying a date. I remember them just dropping the trailer and then all hell breaking loose.
No, something like that. Like, you want people to know, hey, we're going to have a big reveal.
I think with this one, we might just see a trailer. Also, it might be Thursday in Japan time.
True.
Like they could just be a little wrong.
So tomorrow then.
Yes, it could be literally tomorrow. You could just. I think it. So Nintendo is known for saying we will have an announcement tomorrow or 2 days prior. I think it's possible they just drop the video.
Okay.
They just drop a video, and I think Nate specifically said that there won't be any games in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It will just be like showing off the hardware, and that's basically it.
Well, I mean,
but
no, I'm sure it's not going to focus on games,
right.
But like it'll show games. Like they're going to show people playing the system.
I think he means no game announcements.
Right.
But when they showed the original Switch, that first trailer that we saw, there were games in it. They were just games we knew about already. The only one we didn't was Mario. We were like, "What's this new Mario game?" That's crazy.
So the original Switch trailer, it showed him playing Breath of the Wild, which was announced for the Wii U.
Yeah.
It hadn't come out yet.
Yeah.
So like, okay, that makes sense. That game is going to be on the Switch. It showed Mario Kart, and it's like, okay, obviously there's going to be a Mario Kart game on there. It showed Splatoon 2. Oh, that's probably just Splatoon 1.
Yeah, it looked exactly like Splatoon 1, so nobody cared about it.
It showed a weird fantasy game, and everyone's like, is that fucking Skyrim? And it turned out it was Skyrim.
Yeah. With Link armor and stuff.
Yeah, with Link armor. It showed NBA 2K.
Yeah, nobody cared about that.
2K. And then the only, like you said, the only weird one was like that Mario game. It was like, that doesn't look like a Mario game I know.
Yeah. So I think this will be similar.
It'll be similar, yeah. Like you'll probably see Metroid Prime 4. You'll probably see a Mario Kart game.
You might see Breath of the Wild in 4K 60.
Yeah.
That they were showing that off in
they
were showing that off at what was it? Tokyo Game Show?
Yeah.
Something
like that.
Or GDC. They were showing off behind closed doors. They were showing off Breath of the Wild running at 4K 60. I don't know what this thing's gonna run at. Like we were talking earlier or last week about their whole upscaling thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm sure Breath of the Wild will be 4K 60. I don't know what the extent of the other games are gonna be.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna like roll up Mario Odyssey and get like a true 4K.
I mean, Mario Odyssey maybe, but like,
see, what makes me think not is that the patent specifically showed 540p being upscaled to 1080p, and that's what Mario Odyssey runs at internally, I think, is 540p.
Yeah.
So that just seems really specific.
Right.
But Bob, do you think these will be real games that will be in the reveal trailer or just tech demos that will never be released to the public? Nintendo wouldn't show tech demos.
Yeah.
Nintendo would show something that you could physically have.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say never, because they showed tech demos at like old like conferences and stuff, but they never like publicly revealed they never publicly released videos of tech demos.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you know what?
No, they have
Zelda GameCube.
Mario 128.
Yeah, but I was referring to that when I said like at trade shows. Right. That wasn't like a release.
Right.
But the GameCube Zelda, they released that.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching that on our parents' compact Pasario.
Yeah.
This is gonna be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then Wind Waker trailer dropped, and I was like, that's gay. Because I was 11.
Yeah.
So let's right here on our little board, we got our little whiteboard of Nintendo Switch 2 rumors. Yeah. And I'm gonna put Nate the Hate.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday. What's Thursday?
The 16th.
The 16th. And Tom Warren and Eurogamer this week.
Yes.
That's the last thing on this list.
Yeah.
Thursday.
16th.
Thursday the 16th. 8 to 8. Then and terrible for I have no room on here. This is the very.
I
last
told her
thing
we
we
should have
can put on
gotten
here.
a bigger whiteboard. But I mean, I guess if it is this week, it's all moot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that if it's announced next week, we have to then look at this
Right.
whiteboard. Pause the screen here if you want to see everything that's on it. We'd have to next week. We're going to look at this whiteboard and see who the liars are.
Yep.
Sonic FM with the €2. Any chance of USB-C compliance this time? I would be surprised if they don't abide by power delivery standards.
Yeah, I feel like the Switch 1 was like early enough in USB-C's life cycle where like it wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now. But like now they gotta like get their act together with that shit.
I'm worried about power issues, but I have to be honest. The Switch 1 has been out for a really long time, and I was blowing the whistle on USB-C power delivery compliance like from the very start. And that might have been a little overblown because since then, not a lot of bricking going on.
No,
you know,
no,
it happened for like a year. There was like a lot of issues. But
well, I think people eventually found out that the issue is in TV mode. Like if you dock into the TV, that's where you run into all the issues with.
It's the docks. It's the third-party docks. YouTube just completely crashed.
Oh no! And all of a sudden.
The live stream's fine, but my
it's still running on my computer.
My tab crashed.
Oh.
Chrome sucks.
I fully switched to Safari.
How's that experience?
It's so much better. I don't know what happened, but like some websites just didn't work in Chrome for me anymore. And I uninstalled it and reinstalled it and just like nothing. I don't know what happened. So I'm a Safari man now.
Maybe I'll make the switch because my biggest worry is having things between my phone and my computer, and you know what? Safari does that.
Yeah,
but my PC though.
You can get Safari on your PC, but like
I'm not doing that. I refuse to. In before chat goes Mozilla Firefox.
I was gonna say Mozilla Firefox, but like, apparently like they make most of their money from Google paying them to make Google the only like web browser to use. So like, not so cool, are ya?
I got offered to do an Opera GX sponsorship,
and
I said no because I just wouldn't switch to it. I was like, I can't switch to Opera GX, and I'm not gonna take a sponsorship if I'm not gonna use it.
Gamer browser, right?
Yeah.
You should just for the stupidity of the fact that there's a gamer browser.
I hear it's good.
I'm sure it is. Opera's a decent browser.
I do hear that from other people who were sponsored by it. So.
Well, the Wii had Opera as a web browser.
The Brave browser. I can't because isn't that weird like right-wing political thing, or am I thinking of something else?
I don't know.
It feels like
the
name feels like it would be like, we don't want the libs, the tech libs being in control of our browsing.
Well, guess what? They're not libs anymore. Have you been following the news? We're bringing masculinity back into the tech world with Mark Zuckerberg, the most masculine of all the tech new nerds, whatever.
You know what? I do use Opera, though, on the Wii.
Yes.
The Wii has Opera, and I used it the other day to try to pull up our merch on the TV, and it didn't quite work because it hasn't been updated in 10 years. Underscore says, tried Opera, wasn't that great. I just used Firefox. And then he said, Brave is a privacy browser.
Yeah, I'm on their website now.
Has a lion for the icon.
Yeah, it's a privacy browser. It blocks third-party data.
Auto ad blocks.
Built-in VPN. Built-in AI assistant. Great.
I do like built-in VPN.
Yes.
Ad blocks, that's cool, but I can't do that.
Right.
Because I make money from ads. Mm-hmm. And if I blocked ads, that would be hypocrite.
You're a hypocrite.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
Owning the libs.
I have the list of things. There's a lot that we know about that seem pretty accurate. Magnetic Joy-Con, 12 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage. Mm-hmm. Mic in the controller, and the console, I would imagine it would be in the dock and not the console.
The mic.
Yeah, being in the controller makes sense, but being in the console and
in the console
doesn't
itself,
make sense.
no. I would imagine if they're gonna have a mic, they would just put it on the Joy-Con.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's probably what that extra button is for.
So I heard a rumor about that.
Ooh.
Wood said it in Jackson's chat yesterday.
Okay.
So I can say this. He heard that it is for camera. The C is for camera.
Okay.
Or there was another thing. So the rumor was that the C is for camera and it comes with an included camera accessory, which sounds stupid because that's like the Kinect and they should have learned from that is bad.
Yeah.
There was one other thing. Oh, cast. It could be cast.
Got it.
Which would be cool.
Yes.
Because another rumor from Taiwan Economic Daily and Moisty Charlie was dual screen.
Yes.
Which is ridiculous because every other rumor we saw is one screen.
Mm-hmm.
But if it could cast, and the tablet is the second screen experience. Remember when in the 360 days when you would use a tablet as a second screen experience? So that way you can have Wii U backwards compatibility, you can have DS and 3DS backwards compatibility. So my money's on cast. Cast to the dock.
I would have to wait and see to reserve judgment because I don't know, because that would require a lot of tech in the dock itself.
Yeah.
And and that would negate the ability to have like third-party docks because that would definitely be a proprietary.
Well, does Nintendo want third-party docks? Because they didn't. There was not a single officially licensed third-party dock
Originally.
Yeah.
Now, if they do USB-C like compliance, then anybody can just be a third-party dock.
All right. Let me roll back what I said about USB-C compliance. I hope that they have power delivery compliance. That's what I said. I do not think that they will have DisplayPort compliance. Like, I don't think it's going to work with third-party docks at all. I don't think it's going to be like the Steam Deck where every USB-C splitter will just work just fine. I think that they will continue to lock it behind their own. It's not really proprietary, the output that they have, but it's one that like nobody uses. Yeah. It's like My PD or something. It's like some Samsung phones from like 2009 use it. So yeah, I hope that they do power delivery compliance. I do not, with fast charging and all that would be great. But I don't think that they will work with generic docks like a Steam Deck would. That being said, the Wii U has some pretty decent technology with connecting the dock to the console. Like it was pretty quick. Like it was pretty seamless. There was like no lag or anything because it used its own like signal. It was like I don't know what exactly it was, but it was not just like Bluetooth or something. It was something that was very fast. So they could do something like that to the dock, and then that goes to the TV. And that could be really cool. Bub, what about 30-watt wired / dock and normal 5-watt operate? I don't know what it's saying to me right now. I don't know what that means. You're talking about like running at a lower power when it's like not connected to the dock? It'll be just like the regular Switch. You're not going to be able to choose what power mode you're in. It's just going to run at a lower power if you're playing a game that isn't that powerful. Saltwater Cowboy says it's most probably a chat button. The C button.
Right.
Being for chat.
I guess to mute the chat.
So
that would make sense if the mic was in the Joy-Con.
You know what? I'm with that.
Yeah.
I support that. That makes sense because I mean, I don't know if they would call it chat, but it makes sense because one of the big criticisms of the original Switch was it not having built-in voice chat.
Yeah.
You needed to have an app, and that was ridiculous. So them putting a mic on the Joy-Con, it seems to be their way to fix that. And having a physical button to mute it makes sense. They have that on the DualShock or the DualSense controller. Yeah. The PlayStation 5 controller has the mic button on it, and so does the PlayStation 4 controller.
Well, the PlayStation 4 doesn't have a mic in it.
Doesn't it have a button?
No. The DualSense has a mic built in. The DualShock 4 only has the speaker.
Oh, okay. I'm misremembering that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the DualSense controller has the button.
Yeah.
And when the when the PlayStation 5 first came out,
It defaulted to on.
Yeah. And that was fucked.
Yeah.
So, hopefully this will be the opposite.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was reading these. Dual screen is the one that's wacky, but I think that something might happen there. What else? Extra button on the back, which we learned is most likely the detachable.
Yeah.
The detach button.
Mm-hmm.
Larger SL and SR buttons, we know that. C button, we know that. Yeah, that's it. Short curved dock. All of that seems pretty legit. We should have put wackier ones on here, honestly. All right. Oh, and the very last one announced this Thursday.
Yep. So stay tuned.
Or this week. So anyway, let's move on. What else do we have to talk about? Well, we have Jeffrey Sorensen with the 41 months. So thank you so much. We have Green Protagonist with the 100 bits. Anyone else as excited as me to see Microsoft bring some old school Halo to Switch?
Hey. We'll get into that.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Oh, it's an article.
Oh, I'm excited for it. Also, will Wolf damn it with 56 months. Hey, Wolf Bros. I think the real question regarding the Switch 2 is, will it have that dumb-ass Nintendo Music app built into it?
I think that's what people really want to know. Is it going to be built in, or can you download it to the Switch? Because how else am I going to hear music from Nintendo games on my Nintendo Switch?
Well, there was the
it's Smash Brothers. You can put the system in sleep.
Yes, you can literally just have Smash Brothers on your Switch, put your headphones in, play the music, put the Switch to sleep, and it would play like an iPod.
Yeah.
So yeah, why not?
Maybe.
Give me that.
I do think like I understand like the Switch being a gaming only like device like worked perfectly for them, but I do think there was a missed opportunity to not like have Netflix on there, Kindle on there, have it be like a more multi-purpose,
like a damn tablet,
a more multi-purpose entertainment device, really. You know?
Yeah. No, there was a lot of weird apps on the Switch, but it could function as like an actual tablet.
Yeah, like YouTube got on there eventually. Hulu was on there for a while.
Well, this might have a mouse.
Ooh, there you go.
I don't think it's a mouse. We talked about that, right?
We did, yeah.
Didn't we have Hulu?
Yeah, the Wii had
Netflix.
It had Hulu and Netflix, yes.
You had to put a disc in, though.
Yes. The Wii U had a whole suite of streaming apps. That was one of the things they marketed it with.
And that was pretty progressive of them. That's because people were getting the Wii specifically for Netflix. Yeah. They were like at the forefront with that. And then the Wii U failed.
Yes.
Moving on.
Yes.
What's next? Oh.
We're not done with
Genki's in a lot of trouble. Everybody please support Genki in this trying time.
Nintendo lawyers reportedly visited accessory maker Genki at CES. A report claimed after videos of its dummy Wii Switch 2 console went viral. High-profile French tech journalist Julien Taliwak was one of several reporters to stop by Genki's CES booth last Friday when he claimed the company had been dropped in by Nintendo lawyers. Images of Genki's mock-up Switch 2 unit, which the company's chatty CEO initially claimed was based on the actual final design, spread across the internet last week, and clearly Nintendo noticed. According to Taliwak, Genki simply told Nintendo it had never signed an NDA with the company and therefore hadn't technically broken any rules.
Yeah.
I talked to the guy from Genki just behind me. He told me that Nintendo had stopped by with lawyers. They had nothing to be reprimanded for because they never signed a paper with Nintendo, no confidentiality agreement, no NDA. So the Japanese brand are quiet. On the other hand, Genki told me that they were sure that the Switch 2, except for a few details, would look just like the 3D prototype. Perhaps notably, by the end of last week, Genki had decided to make it clear that it hadn't actually seen the Switch 2 itself, after previously saying it was aware that the units were now available on the black market.
That might be to save a little bit of face. They might be trying to protect some of the people that showed them, because somebody had to have shown them what this looks like.
Speaking to Japanese newspaper, the Sankei Shimbun, a Nintendo spokesperson simply stated that the images and videos from CES were not official.
So that's another thing. There's a lot of misreporting on this. There's another article here too.
Yeah, this is more about Genki saying it's not the real deal. I think it doubles up on what was said in the last.
Okay. There's some.
Not bring tissues with me. Oh, I did. Yes.
There's some interesting language here that I'm seeing from some of these articles saying that it's not the Switch 2.
Yeah.
But no, it's not. It is a Switch 2 mock-up of what it will probably look like.
But like, you got to think about it. Like, we've not seen the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Clearly, if you're making accessories for the damn thing, you have seen it. You have like specs and dimensions for it.
Yeah, you're putting your money behind the fact that this is what it's going to look like.
Yes.
So that has to lead some credence to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're not the only accessory manufacturer.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of accessory manufacturers who are like, we are this sure that this is what it's going to look like. We're putting tens of thousands of dollars into the injection molds because we think that that's what it's going to be. They're putting a big gamble on it.
Yeah.
So that's probably what it's gonna be like.
And especially like if the rumors are true and it's gonna be revealed Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, it's too late to change it now.
Yeah.
Like, if it does come out and it does look different from what the 3D printed version that Genki had was, Genki's fucked. They got to go back to the drawing board.
So there's not much Nintendo can do to Genki specifically because they don't have an agreement at all.
Yeah.
Genki legally cannot use Nintendo's copyright to promote their products, as far as I'm aware. Although they are a Chinese company, I'm pretty sure, and the law over there is completely different.
I'm just pulling this up because this is the Genki 8-bit do crossover thing, the SM30 Pro, and it works for Switch, but there's no Switch copyright on here anywhere.
Let me see that. So
like, it doesn't have Nintendo branding. It doesn't have Nintendo logos or anything.
It just says Switch.
Yeah.
It doesn't even say Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
It just says Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So, even on the back it says Switch.
I'm looking to see if it says like Switch registered trademark in Nintendo, and I can't even find that.
So on the bottom it says Apple, iPad OS, Mac OS, and TV OS are trademarks of Apple.
Yeah.
It doesn't even say Switch at all.
Yeah.
So
that's how they're skirting around that.
I think that they're mostly safe. There's not much Nintendo can do.
Yeah.
Although supposedly I heard that Nintendo might reprimand them by telling distributors not to work with them.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna do some petty shit.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know to what extent that's gonna really affect Genki too much. This sort of having lawyers approach you at a convention is not unheard of.
Yeah.
I could say this now because I
was approached at a convention.
Almost. I'm far removed now, but so I worked for the t-shirt company Busted Tees.
Yes.
And the company has been sold, and I don't even know if it's around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But we would go to Comic-Con and had all these unlicensed shirt designs of popular IPs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And multiple times lawyers from Disney and other, like, Marvel and shit and DC would walk by the booth and say, cease and desist, take those down.
Yeah.
And I would show up to the booth one day and there'd be like bags over like one of the shirts, and I'm like, what happened? And, like, they came today and told us to take it down. So that happens. That's the thing. I totally believe that Nintendo legitimately walked up to them and tried to accost them about it. But again, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
It's like the mob. Like, they're literally just going to try to bully them out of being a company.
Yeah.
Anyway. Gavin says, I never show anything I'm not supposed to at Comic-Con.
That's because you're a professional international
that is
superstar
true.
Comic book illustrator.
That is true.
Yes.
I'll say whatever you want me to say, Gavin. All right. So, thoughts and prayers to Genki. What else? What? I didn't order these.
Um,
Is the very next one really going to be Marvel Rivals removes the Trump mod? Is that really the next
that
one?
does not have to be the next one.
Is that
No.
let's talk about this. Let's talk about the SSone
Yes.
by Retro Remake. That's something I'm actually genuinely interested in. This is a Taki
Udon joint. Yes.
He's done a bunch of stuff. Is his very popular OLED mod for the Switch Lite.
Yes.
Everyone's telling me I got to try that. I don't want to because I don't want to mod a Switch Lite again.
Yeah.
I have to buy one, and I got to tell you, modding the Switch Lite sucks ass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little interested in the 7-inch version, taking a regular Switch and turning it into an OLED.
Right.
I'm way more interested in this. This is really cool.
So Sony recently caused quite a stir by announcing a range of PS1 style designs for its console range to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the PlayStation brand. Mr. Pie creator Taki Udon has taken this opportunity to tease a PS related project of his own, an FPGA based system which takes design inspiration from the original 32-bit PlayStation and runs games as accurately as possible. FPGA tips, field programmable gate array chips, allow developers to replicate the performance of classic systems on a hardware level rather than using software, as is the case with traditional emulation. This ensures a much higher level of accuracy and removes issues like latency and input lag. He notes that it will also play games for other systems, unlike Analog's range of home console FPGA clones.
Oh.
PS1 games on FPGA isn't anything new. A Mr. PS1 core has been around for a while, but it seems that Taki Udon plans to include support for original PlayStation 1 accessories, such as controllers and memory cards. It seems unlikely that it will run original discs, however. Games will need to be loaded on flash memory. For those who haven't been following the series, this consoleized Mr. FPGA system designed to faithfully play PS1 games as well as many other systems, Taki Udon says. Now you will know why the R2 logo uses these 4 colors. Taki Udon is working on a series of FPGA devices as well as an open source handheld.
I didn't know this.
Unlike his Mr. Pie project, the PS1 system will be a fully custom PCB assembly at a factory. The end user doesn't need to do anything. It will also come with a Tap2 support, as the logo contains an NFC reader. Update 1. Taki Udon has revealed the project. The hard cap on price is under $225, but the Founders Edition of the system will come with a substantial discount. Update 2. He has revealed the full pre-order. All right. Taki Udon revealed that those who pre-order the upcoming FPGA PS1 will be available to get it for $149. The new system is compatible with the Mr. FPGA cores and is capable of running original PlayStation 1 discs via an optional add-on, which is connected via an expansion port on the base of the system. The console will also support original PS1 controllers and memory cards and offers analog and digital output, HDMI, DIN 10, VGA, component composite, NFC, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. You'll also get one YC input for PS1 light guns, so you can use it on a CRT, a micro SD card slot, 3 USB-A ports, 1 USB-C port, Ethernet, 3.5mm audio, and Toslink audio outputs. There's also a chance it may even be sold in a classic PS1 gray shell.
So it's possible that after the initial launch, after the Founders Edition, it could go up to $225.
Right.
That's kind of a lot.
Right.
So when's it up?
I don't think he said yet. Sign up to be emailed for the Founders Edition.
Okay. I want one of those. And I didn't know he was making a handheld. That's really cool. And it's open source.
Yeah.
That's really cool that there's an open source FPGA handheld because it would be great for other companies to get their hands on this design and build off of it.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
I think it's really good that it's also going to be, you're going to be able to play games, disc-based games on it. You know, you have to get an add-on, sure, but at least you have that ability. Because that'll probably be easier for a lot of people than like trying to hunt down the ROMs for it.
Yeah, I am interested in I want to know why there hasn't been a lot of effort put into, like, we have cart rippers, right?
Yeah.
We have devices where you can put the card in and rip the ROM that way.
Yeah.
Why not something similar, but it's got a series of disk drives?
Yeah, I think it might have something to do with because, like, PS1 games have like black bottoms, like for copy protection. PS2, like they use DVDs and blue bottom discs. Dreamcast use a GD-ROM, so that's like different.
Yeah, they did a lot to try to copy protect themselves and to make it difficult to rip stuff. But it's been years. Yeah. It's far removed. And a lot of these consoles that were disc-based have CD drives that are available. Like they're from a company, like a Samsung CD drive or something.
Also, I think too, like sourcing parts for a disc drive is just getting harder and harder to do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if it's worth the effort for people to do it. I've been seeing a lot of articles about like boutique CD music players and like cassette makers. And one of the things I saw was the reason why, if you want to buy a cassette player now, they're like this big. And that's because one company makes the component to like actually play the tape. And they got to like fit the shell around that.
Right.
So, like, if only one company is making the specific like lens you need for the CD laser, it might not be worth it to like then make sure it can also read all the other different types of discs.
Right. I think there's a pretty decent market for ROM ripping.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that would very much help legitimize this whole emulation space. Unless having devices that will easily rip all of your ROMs for you.
If it's a problem, if it can be done with commercially available disk drives, then there's got to be like a software out there that do it, and somebody just needs
that's
to
the problem
the software.
Is that it's not with most disk. You need specific disk drives for a lot of these different consoles. There is a program, I already forgot the name of it, but I have in my video, emulation does not equal piracy. I go into one of the softwares that's really cool, but it requires different disk drives and stuff. So something like that program mixed with a bunch of different types of disk drives slapped together could be really cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more efforts put into that. But anyway, I think it's cool that he's making an FPGA PlayStation 1. There's not a lot of PlayStation 1 games that I care to play, but I'm interested to mess around with this. More so, I like the idea that he's doing an open source handheld.
Yeah.
I don't know much about this handheld. It looks like it's a 3x2 display, which is Game Boy Advance.
Oh, that's cool.
Aspect ratio, so that could be cool. I'd like to know more specs and stuff, but I guess he hasn't like fully announced it yet. This is back in August.
Oh, wow.
So I'm way out of the loop there. Okay. So I'm behind this tacky udon guy.
Yeah.
Busy Sota, thank you for the Prime subscription. That's just a Pow Kitty V10. Oh, I was gonna say it looks pretty much like a lot of other handhelds I see. PlayStation would never lower themselves to a diskless system that you need to buy a disc add-on for. Get it?
I get it.
That's sarcasm.
There's a little cheeky one.
Michael J. Benny. Is it media preservation front end? I think so. I think that is the program I was talking about. All right, next. Let's talk about Trump.
Okay. Where is it? I lost it.
Marvel Rivals Trump mod removal from Nexus mods opens stupid new front in the never-ending culture war. This is the title of the article from Polygon. This looks terrible.
Yes.
But also, like, here's I don't know anything about this. Here's my initial thoughts. A mod like this only shows up on your own computer.
Yeah.
So who are you harming? What's the problem?
Nexus mods recent removal of custom skins that gave Captain America the heads of U.S. Presidents Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and Barack Obama in Marvel Rivals caused a bit of a stir among the types who typically freak out about this sort of thing. As such, the popular mod repository is doing its best to combat the misinformation and subsequent harassment surrounding its decision. By removing the Trump mod, we are simply executing our existing file submission policies, Nexus mods said on Twitter on January 8th. Referencing its 2020 decision to enforce a site-wide ban on cowards with sock puppet accounts uploading provocative and troll mods based on socio-political issues in the United States. What has been overlooked in much of the conversation is that we also removed other mods featuring U.S. presidents uploaded to the site for Marvel rivals such as Biden and Obama. The statement goes on to explain that as a small company based out of the UK with no stake in the goings-ons in American government, Nexus Mods does not wish to be used as a platform for political discussion about the U.S. The Trump mod was reported to us, and in line with our terms of service, we've been actively ensuring that any other American politician mod are also removed from our site, Nexus Mod said. While we have the right to choose what we host on our platform, we are not the authority on what you do or do not decide to mod into your games. And these mods can be found elsewhere on other sites. And there's the crux of the issue. Like the above statement mentions, several websites free of so-called censorship now exist to house these kinds of controversial mods. The community that really wants a Trump mod for Marvel Rivals, therefore, doesn't need Nexus mods. So it's not clear why they're still resorting to 2-bit trolling when they could happily move on to greener pastures that cater to whatever belief is driving their desire for this mod. Nexus Mods owner Robin Scott summed up the situation perfectly on January 6th. There you go. 2 days before the official statement went out on Twitter in the comments of a Reddit thread about censorship on his site. We also removed the exact same mod with Joe Biden's head at the same time to ensure that there was no bias because we don't want to handle all the nut jobs that come from out of the woodwork whenever these mods get posted. Funny how the outrage bait YouTubers don't mention that, isn't it? Case in point today with
literally Polygon fed right into that.
Yeah, basically, yes.
What the hell?
Case in point today with all the nut jobs coming out of the woodwork, sending us death threats, calling us pedos, and all the other wah-wahs that come with this ridiculous situation because some YouTubers told them we were only removing Trump mods. It's so dumb, and these people are so dumb that I really cannot be fucked with. I am not expecting any of my staff to handle I'm not expecting any of my staff to have to handle these whack jobs any more than showing them the door either. So we deleted all the mods we see that get reported to us on the topic, and all the people this upset can trot on because it's not worth our time or effort to care about.
I hate this article. Like, I don't like that they took the mod down. I don't like that they took the mods down because who's it hurting? It's just U.S. presidents. Like let it
right. Well, like, look, if they have a terms of service, they got to adhere to the terms of service, and they're doing that. They're adhering to the terms of service.
Yeah,
that's all. The problem is, because it's the orange guy, you take him down, it's gonna be a big deal.
Well, yeah, but the article's title,
the article,
Marvel Rivals Trump mod removal from Nexus mod opens stupid new front in the never-ending culture war. You just perpetuated that. By focusing on the Trump one.
It should have, the title should have included the other.
Yeah.
But I think because, like, if you remove, like, nobody cares if you remove a Biden mod or an Obama mod. It's only that guy.
Yeah, but even the body of the article, they don't get to the point that they focus too heavily on the Trump one.
Well, because that's the one that causes all the hoopla.
I know, but they're part of the problem. It's Nexus mod can do whatever the hell they want.
Yes,
it's their.
And they should be allowed to do whatever they want.
Yes.
If they want to remove those mods, they should be allowed to remove the mods.
Yes,
and yes, you are free to go to any other website and get your dumb mods that you want to play with.
It's very stupid to focus specifically on the Trump ones when they also removed.
Right. Well, that's what they're trying to say.
Actually, if you want to really make it political, they removed 2 Democrats and 1 Republican.
Yeah,
so
that's not fair. They should remove more Republicans.
Man, yeah. They should make a Bush one just to get rid of them.
But keep the Reagan one.
And again, it's ugly as sin.
Yeah.
I haven't really encountered a lot of trolls on Marvel Rivals.
I haven't gotten around to playing.
But although I will say I leave everybody muted. So.
Oh yeah, that's what you do.
I just put Bazite back on my Ally X. And I played a little bit of Rivals last night just to mess around to see how it ran on Bazite. It runs awesome.
Really?
80 frames.
Okay.
At 1080p.
Okay.
Which is already crazy.
Yeah.
For a handheld. And I put a little bit of motion aiming.
Okay.
So I can do some precise aiming with it. It's fucking sick.
Nice.
I need to test it on both the Steam Deck and on Windows on the Ally X just to see if it runs just as good. But I didn't play like an actual match. I was just messing around in like the shooting gallery. But I also opened a portal as Doctor Strange, which almost crashed my other computer, my 3060 Ti, but it was totally fine. It was only a little bit of frame dip, but it didn't go below 60 even when I opened the portal. So I was very impressed with how well it ran on the Ally X with Baslite.
Right.
So I'll continue to try it with some other stuff.
Bob, are you saying that the press is the enemy of the people?
Only the gaming press. Only Polygon specifically. Yes. Marvel Rivals is a woke game. I'll say it. Too many women.
It's always going to be the women, you know?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yep. I like Indiana Jones. It's not woke. There's no women in it.
Not a single one.
No. Not a single one. Okay, there's one, but she's Italian. She doesn't count.
They don't count.
They don't count.
Splash damaged. Canceled Transformers Reactive Downsizing. What? Transformers Reactive is the name of a game.
Yes. Okay. Splash Damage has announced it's canceling the development of Transformers Reactivate, and it's going to be scaling down the studio as a result, leaving roles at risk of redundancy. Transformers Reactivate was unveiled for PC and consoles at the Game Awards in 2022, promising online action for 1 to 4 players featuring some of the franchise's most iconic characters. However, little has been heard about the game since its revealed 2 years ago, and now Splash Damage has confirmed the development has ceased. Today, we have some very difficult news to share. The company wrote in a social media post, the decision has been made to end development of Transformers Reactivate. This means we will be scaling down to refocus our efforts on other projects. Unfortunately, despite every effort, a number of roles across the studio are now potentially at risk of redundancy. This decision did not come lightly, and it is a difficult time for the studio and our people. We want to take a moment to thank the team who worked on Transformers for their dedication and passion. Splash Damage, which is based in the UK, did not specify the reason for the game's cancellation, nor did it reveal how many jobs were at risk following today's news. Hasbro was an incredible and supportive partner throughout. It continued, and we hope to work with them again. To many fans, your excitement and support kept us going. While not being able to see the game through to release is painful, having to say goodbye to friends and colleagues hurts even more. We are now focused on doing everything we can to support them through this tough period, just as we are committed to caring for those who will stay with us as we build a stronger Splash Damage for the future. Thank you for your compassion and understanding.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. This was that weird Transformers game that got announced where like you didn't know what it was, and then at the end it's like, hey, it's a Transformers game.
Oh, wasn't it literally just announced?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not just announced.
No, but like, yeah, we hadn't heard anything about it, and now we know it's not coming out.
I remember seeing one and being like, is that War for Cybertron? And it wasn't.
Yeah. I think that might have been this, because it looks like that like dingy, gritty look that War for Cybertron had.
So I went to Splash Damage, their Wikipedia, to see what they've made in the past.
Yeah.
Hit or miss.
Yeah.
Doom 3 multiplayer. It seems like they focused more on the multiplayer portions of some games or games that were multiplayer focused. They did Batman Arkham Origins multiplayer. I forgot there was a multiplayer.
It was an okay multiplayer mode.
Okay. Gears of War 4 multiplayer, Gears of War 5 multiplayer. That seems like a weird game to farm out. I'm sure maybe they just helped with the multiplayer. They did Brink. Remember Brink?
Yeah, bad game.
Although Brink was one that I suggested often to moms because they wanted to get Call of Duty for their kids, for their 11-year-old kids, but that game's rated M. And Brink is rated T. So I was like, Brink, dude, get him Brink.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're also working on a game, Project Astrid.
Right. I haven't said anything about that yet.
No, there's nothing.
They don't say why Transformers Reactivate was canceled, but I wonder like what the reason could be, because like Hasbro said they were going to put more focus into digital entertainment, which means video game, and this could have been the perfect like entry point for that new initiative.
Yeah,
you know, especially since apparently they're not putting any more money into any more big movies after Transformers 1 didn't do.
It's possible it was bad.
Yeah.
It was a bad game.
Right.
Maybe they're focusing on Project Astrid, which apparently Shroud is involved in. Shroud was involved in another game that doesn't seem to be doing too hot right now.
Right.
Kind of flopped at launch, but it looked interesting. I was interested in his game. They show like 2 seconds of what this game's gonna look like, and it's not. I mean, it looks
nothing special,
like pretty generic.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever. Couldn't hurt to have 2 or 3 more multiplayer live service games out there on the market.
Right, but how many of them do you turn into a car?
That's a you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't think of one where you turn into a car.
Nope.
You do get a cool motorcycle in Warframe.
Okay, but you don't turn into the motorcycle.
I don't know if you
so
turn
Warframe
into Warframe
sucks.
True. Xbox Game Pass is the reason why the games industry is dying.
Xbox games, included in Game Pass subscription service, can reportedly lose up to 80% of their predicted premium sales. That's according to journalist Christopher Dring, who added that for multiplayer titles, inclusion in Game Pass can drive PS5 sales. Speaking as part of a Q&A on the install base forums, Dring was asked his thoughts on Game Pass and its impact on the market. Anecdotally, games that are in Game Pass can expect to lose around 80% of its expected premium sales on Xbox, Dring wrote. That's the figure that's been getting thrown around. It's less if it's a big mainstream release, but generally, look at how low Hellblade 2 charted, or where Indiana Jones came, or even Starfield. Game Pass clearly hurts the sales of titles on Xbox. But if it's a game on multiple platforms, it can be beneficial. The surge in players on one Xbox can have strong impact on sales on PlayStation, for instance. Dring went on to say that he feels torn on the effectiveness of subscription models, and it's highly dependent on the genre and the type of game. Try being an indie game on Xbox right now. Try being an indie game on Xbox right now that's not on Game Pass, for instance. But also, getting people to play your game in 2024 or 2025 is so hard, and a subscription gets games in front of lots of people, he said. We know from data that there are a lot of people that only play Call of Duty, and if some of those people decide to get Call of Duty this year via Game Pass, and those very same people took the opportunity to play another Game Pass game, games they wouldn't have normally played, it's hard to argue that that's a bad thing. This week's sales data revealed that the video game revenue in the UK dropped from 4.4%. Revenue in the UK dropped 4.4% to £460 billion in 2024. This was driven mainly by the collapse in physical game revenue in the region, with just £324.4 million generated by sales of boxed games in the UK last year.
So, games that go on Game Pass, don't they? I mean, well, games like Hellblade and games like Starfield and Call of Duty are part of the Xbox umbrella. So when they are added to Game Pass, I'd imagine they don't get like money for doing that. But like when a game gets put on Game Pass, like an indie game, they usually give them like a lump sum.
Yeah, they give them a lump sum.
Yeah. So then the publishers of that game, like let's say Animal Well, I don't know if that was on there, but if Animal Well were to launch on Game Pass, Xbox would give them money to launch on Game Pass. The developer then has to determine whether or not it's more worth it to get the lump sum and have the a promotion of being on Game Pass, or are they going to lose money with that sort of partnership? And in some cases, they make more money by being on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And like they say at the end of the article, sometimes people play Call of Duty and then they go, oh, what else is on here? And then they find a game.
The article also mentions that, like, if one person buys the game on Xbox, then that could lead to, like, if they say it's a popular game there, at least the sales on other systems like PlayStation.
True. Yeah. So I think that Game Pass was a very interesting experiment, especially when it started.
Yeah.
I think that the idea behind it wasn't to have they're looking at sales numbers differently now. Like it's not like units sold.
Yeah.
It's did this game get people into our ecosystem?
Yeah.
And that's a different metric that we're not used to quantifying. Whether or not that's paying off is hard to tell because, again, it's a weird metric that's hard to quantify. So I don't know when we will learn if it's paying off or not.
Yeah.
But saying that it cannibalizes 80% of sales, I can imagine that on some games. But then again, it's not about how much it's selling. It's about getting people onto the platform, especially if we're talking about games like Hellblade and Starfield.
Right.
Because those are Xbox games.
Right.
Xbox just wants people to be on their platform.
But I think we're starting to see the point, and we're seeing this with like, movie subscription services is like getting people on the platform is not enough anymore. Like,
well, yeah, it's not enough for Netflix because they have everybody on the platform already. But Xbox needs people on the platform. They're not at Xbox. They're not at Netflix level.
Game Pass plateaued at a certain point.
Yeah.
Not enough people are coming in, and the games that they're making are not making the kind of money anymore that they used to before Game Pass, because now everyone just buys the one Game Pass subscription instead of buying like however many copies of a game.
Well, that's different because Netflix reached as many people as it possibly can. And so did YouTube. YouTube, everybody has YouTube. They can't grow anymore.
Right.
Xbox has not reached nearly enough people.
Right.
They plateaued because they're sucking. They need to make a better value.
But also, too, like, if you do have an Xbox or you do have a PC, instead of spending the $70 for the game, you're only spending $14 a month or whatever, $20 a month to play it for just a month, and then you can cancel your subscription. The cost is not, the revenue that you get is just not there anymore.
Well, that's the thing that I think is still yet to be determined, whether or not getting people on the platform and paying the monthly fee is more worth it than selling these games individually.
The thing is, like, what we saw with the video streaming services, Disney and with Hulu and Netflix, the value from those were as libraries. The most watched things on those platforms were older stuff. Not necessarily all the new fancy shows that they put out. The most popular thing to watch on Disney Plus is not The Mandalorian. It's not Skeleton Crew. It's not all that stuff they put all the money in. It's Moana 1. It's The Simpsons. It's like older stuff that people just want to watch in the background or distract their kids with.
That's how it is on Steam.
That's how it is on, yeah. So if Game Pass was that, if it was a library of older games, or like not like older, but like,
I mean, why not?
Well, like, I hate to compare this, like the way PlayStation Plus is doing it. Those are not day and date games. Those go on PlayStation Plus like a year or so later. Because you're retaining the value of the game when it comes out.
Yeah, I'm looking at this completely differently because people who are buying games like Call of Duty are only playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And they're buying that every single year.
Right.
So why not lock them into a subscription that is more than double the price of one Call of Duty?
Right.
You're locking them in. You're getting them in at a low rate because it's only $17
right.
one time to start playing Call of Duty. Then you forget and you're locked into $180 for the year. But then you get the next Call of Duty when it comes out too. So you're just locked in.
Right.
And then they have a gateway to a bunch of other games that they can try. Those are the people that they might be making more money on, and that might be more worth it to them than people like us who are using it to play as many games as we can.
But I'm thinking more about like how it is affecting the publishers and developers,
right?
Because like they're not getting the amount of revenue they would have gotten had somebody just bought the game.
But that's the thing. This game is this article is specifically talking about Xbox's own published games.
Yes.
Which doesn't matter because they're under the Xbox umbrella. If Xbox is benefiting from the subscription price, then it doesn't matter.
Well, it does.
They're losing 80% of the revenue.
It does matter because
it's an individual game losing 80% of its revenue. Whereas if Xbox as a total is gaining revenue, then who cares?
It does matter because, we get situations where Hi-Fi Rush is considered a success and Tango still gets closed down.
Yeah.
Because what is this success?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm arguing, is that it's a different way to quantify things. Right. That's a failure in quantifying it. Closing Tango GameWorks. They quantified it wrong there.
Yeah.
So saying that the game is losing 80% of its expected revenue, up to 80% of its expected revenue, I think is a weird metric to go by if you're talking about Xbox's own published games specifically, because it's very clear that Xbox is not giving a shit about how many units are selling of these games.
But I think they really should start, because that's why they're having all these financial problems. That's why they're putting their games on other systems, which we will get to.
Well, that's the thing, is that maybe that's their plan, is to put the games on other systems.
Well, it's their plan now because it's clearly working.
Well, anyway.
So speaking of that,
okay,
the Halo is coming to PlayStation.
Hey, and Flight
Simulator. Microsoft is seemingly ready to launch its flagship Xbox game series Halo on its rival platforms for the first time, including PlayStation and the Switch 2. Nate the Hate, hey, he's back.
Hey, he's on a roll this week.
He reported on a separate podcast that, not the one he announced the Switch 2 release date, but a different podcast. He said that Microsoft will finally bring Halo to PlayStation in the form of a PS5 port of the Master Chief Collection, as well as a release on the Switch 2. Windows Central's Jez Corden subsequently corroborated the report. Microsoft did not respond to comment.
A lot of cooperation with Nate the Hate this week.
While Microsoft's multi-platform video game strategy is well documented at this stage, Halo has seemed to be the final frontier. However, perhaps the famous first-person shooter's flight from Xbox shouldn't become a surprise. Last year, Phil Spencer said that there were no red lines in his first-party lineup when it comes to going multi-platform, and that includes Halo. Speaking of Bloomberg, Spencer said that every Xbox game is up for grabs when it comes to making the multi-platform jump. I do not see sort of red lines in our portfolio that says thou shall not, he said. Microsoft has so far used older game releases over a year ago for its multi-platform push as opposed to brand new games, but that will soon change with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which comes out on PS5 just a few months after its launch on Xbox and PC. Indiana Jones is the latest first-party Xbox game to make the jump, following multi-platform releases like Pentiment and Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush, and Sea of Thieves. In June, Microsoft announced Doom: The Dark Age will also launch on PS5. Spencer said that Xbox multi-platform push is in part about bringing in more money to Microsoft's gaming business, with the pressure now on to deliver following the eye-watering $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. I'll just skip to the part where it says Halo isn't coming to the PS5 and Switch alone. Nate the Hate reported that Flight Simulator 2024 is also coming to PS5 and Switch 2. Windows Central additionally reported that Gears of War 1 Ultimate Edition, Hellblade 2, and Age of Mythology were also coming to PS5 in 2025.
Halo on PS5, obviously, that's a huge deal. Not that I would get it on PlayStation,
right?
But having Halo on a Sony console at all is just so weird to see. This is just like when Sonic Adventure 2 Battle came out for GameCube.
Yeah,
my head exploded.
Yeah, that is honestly the same level of shock and awe, because like, it's Halo, it's the Xbox game.
It's synonymous with not this.
Halo, it was the reason why people bought Xboxes.
Yeah,
it was the reason. And now you're like, you know what? Play it on PlayStation. You don't have an Xbox anymore.
For some reason, it doesn't feel as weird on Switch, but it feels super weird on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Because that feels like the direct enemy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense that they're going with the Master Chief Collection. That's like the oldest of the Halo games currently out right now.
That sounds
what everybody likes.
That sounds like an easy one to port.
Yeah.
And they've been working a lot on the Master Chief Collection. It's been supported for a long time. There's constant updates, and I'd imagine that this wouldn't be too difficult for them to port to the PlayStation 5 or the Switch 2, because it's been around. It's an old game.
Yeah.
Even the remake is old. Now for Flight Simulator, that's cool, because I'm imagining in my head, there's a lot of people who like Flight Simulator that aren't necessarily into video games.
Yeah.
So being like, here's a Switch 2. Here's your Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
This is your Flight Simulator machine.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. That could be really cool. And then having like motion controls with the Flight Simulator, that sounds sick. Because there is no motion controls on the Xbox controller.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm into this. Now, I'd imagine there's not going to be any Game Pass situation going on these other platforms.
No.
You probably have to buy it outright, but...
See, that would really be the answer to all of Microsoft's problems, if they could somehow get Game Pass on PS5 and Switch.
I completely understand why Sony wouldn't want that, because they have their own service. Nintendo is probably in the same boat, However, I think that their service is way different than Game Pass.
Oh yeah.
And I think that them joining forces would be great.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening. Okay. Any notifications? We got May Pecco. Thanks for the 17 months. Izzy Sota, I think I said thank you for the Prime. Well, thanks for the Prime. Rumor that the Switch 2 Joy-Cons will have those sensor that can make it control as a mouse. Yeah, we talked about that last week and a little bit this week. I don't think it's going to work as a mouse. I think the biggest reason I think it's not going to work as a mouse is because that is on the left Joy-Con.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense.
Also, like, you got to hold it weird.
You know, I did it with the Joy-Con and it actually doesn't feel that weird.
Okay.
It actually feels not that bad. But it being the left Joy-Con kind of feels weird because then what are you doing with your left hand?
Yeah.
Like on the Lenovo Legion Go, the right
Right.
Joy-Con-esque controller side works as the mouse, and then your left hand can use the other controller as other buttons.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but so far we've only seen the one Joy-Con.
No,
so we don't know if that sensor's on the right Joy-Con, do we?
I mean, we've seen both, and the sensor's
only on the left
from these renders that we've seen, and from the from the most legitimate looking picture of a Joy-Con was only the left one.
Yes.
But the renders only show the space for the optical sensor on the left Joy-Con.
Well, those are just renders.
Yes. So it's possible. It's possible that hole is it dribbles out little gelatin that you could eat.
Yeah.
It's possible little jello comes out of it and you can nibble on it while you're gaming. You know? Anything's possible. These renders are they're not official.
Yeah.
But I seen the hole in the right one. I did not. I don't know what you're looking at. I did not see that hole in the right one at all. I saw a smooth spot on the right one. I've seen actually multiple renders of the optical sensor being on the left one.
Yeah.
Anyway, indie devs question if is indie devs question we're developing for Xbox One. Why would you develop for Xbox One?
Well,
I'm questioning developing for Xbox
Let's
One.
read the article. We are now entering the 12th year of the Xbox One's existence, and Microsoft's last-gen console continues to receive loads of new games on a monthly basis, an incredible feat for what eventually turned out to be an incredible system. But at what point do you stop? That's the question that indie developer and publisher Happy Player asked on social media last week, pondering whether it was necessary to support the console with a new release called Idle Devils.
This game looks interesting.
Yes, interesting. As you can probably imagine, this sparked an interesting discussion with multiple viewpoints shared. Many people stating that Xbox One should remain a key focus for the team, while others advised ditching it for the Xbox Series X and S. Here are some examples from Reddit. In the case of Idle Devils, the developer is having issue where the game is taking too long to load on Xbox One, and apparently Microsoft has a loading limit of 20 seconds in order to put the title on the market. That's the gist of it. It remains to be seen what they'll do next. But in this writer's view, it probably is worth the effort to try and push an Xbox One version over the line. Yes, it's an older console, and many of us have moved on by now, but the top paid Xbox charts are filled with Xbox One versions of games all the time. So clearly they're still managing to shift copies into 2025.
But the top Xbox sold games often show Xbox One titles.
Yeah.
Does that mean they're top selling because they're Xbox One titles? To me, it just seems like they're top selling and they happen to be Xbox One titles. Like, I don't think them being Xbox One titles makes them a top seller.
No.
I think that they're just really popular and they were from the Xbox One era.
What do I want to say here? What are my words? Let's not take up Xbox right now because that's a whole weird situation. Let's say PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. That's the PlayStation 4 was the clear winner of that generation. Sold like 100 million units or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Many people still have a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Not as many people have a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Does it still benefit developers to develop for PlayStation 4, or should they just move on to PlayStation 5?
I think it depends. I think if the game is like low res enough. Like if it's just like it's like a retro inspired like UFO 50 style like easy to run game.
Yeah.
Then why not make it
Right.
for an older platform that is easy to port to? Like PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 is an easy jump.
Right.
Xbox One to Xbox Series is an easy jump.
Yes.
But if you need the extra resources, if it's going to be a pain in the ass, like they mentioned that specifically the Xbox One has a restriction where you have to
It has to load at a certain time.
to load within 22 seconds or something.
Yeah.
If it's going to be that hard, then forget it, especially for Xbox One,
Yeah.
which was not a big seller.
Yeah. I think
so. Already Xbox Series is not a big seller. Now you're moving down a peg from that to Xbox One, and that seems like a stretch.
And I think that's the crux of the issue. It's like, at what point do you stop developing for the last gen systems? Because we're in this new age where like we got the latest and greatest stuff, but you know, there are probably more people with Xbox Ones than there are Xbox Series.
Yeah.
So that's a whole audience you're not reaching. And if they ever do decide to upgrade, they could take the game with them.
Yeah, I think if it's a situation like UFO 50, target the Xbox One,
right?
Because you might as well.
Yeah.
But if there's any sort of pushback, like if there's any hurdle, forget it. Just drop it because it's not worth it.
Right.
We're going to see a lot of games. Supposedly, there's going to be backwards compatibility with the Switch 2 and the Switch 1. So we're going to see this happen with a lot of games going forward where there's going to be some smaller indie games that are going to be targeting Switch 1.
Right.
And they'll just so happen to be on Switch 2 as well. And I think that would be the move for a lot of games, especially if they're UFO 50 style indie games. I don't think UFO 50 is on the Switch.
No, I don't think so either.
I was surprised to see that.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was.
Isn't it only on Steam? Or is it on other systems?
I don't know.
UFO 50 is a video game collection. No, it's only on Windows.
And also my Ambernic consoles.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah,
they could, when this release, they need to release this on Switch.
On everything, really.
Because this seems like, this is one of those things where like it's on Steam and everybody loves it, and then they launch it on Switch and then it's like boom, and then it goes like nutty.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, moving on to Ubisoft investors grill C-suite on a potential sale.
And delays and financial woes. Ubisoft just delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows by another month amid a time of troubled financials. Yes, continuing cost cuts and ongoing rumors that the company was preparing for a sale to gaming giant Tencent.
I did not know this.
In an emergency conference call today, January 9th, investors grilled CEO Yves Guillemot and CFO Frederick Duguet for answers on all of the above, but their responses didn't provide much reassurance. Ubisoft's call today came alongside not just the delay announcement, but a seeming confirmation of the sort. Sorry, but a seeming confirmation of sorts that Ubisoft is preparing to sell, or at least strongly considering it. Per the press release, the company has appointed leading advisors to review and pursue various transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options to extract the best value for stakeholders. This process will be overseen by the independent members of the board of directors. Ubisoft will inform the market in accordance with applicable regulations if and once transactions materialize. Back in October, Bloomberg reported that Ubisoft's founding Guillemot family and shareholder Tencent were in discussion to take the company private following a number of high-profile flops, game cancellations, and the collapse of the company's share price. At the time, the talks were merely exploratory, and Ubisoft told IGN it would inform the market if and when appropriate. Today's update seems to suggest that such talks, either with Tencent or in some other capacity, have moved forward in some way. But it is unclear how, and Ubisoft shareholders understandably want more details during the conference call today.
But there's a lot happening here.
Yeah.
But it to summarize it, it basically says there was an argument with investors. They're very upset. They want to know what's going on, especially if they want to sell parts of Ubisoft. And there was a lot of pushback from the investors to give specific information, and Ubisoft doesn't want to give specific information. And it ended with Ubisoft saying, "We're limited in what we can say today, but we started the process. ... with advisors."
Yeah.
So they tried to reel it in a little bit.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they're actually starting the process of selling parts of Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. That might, I mean, who knows the specific reason why they actually delayed Assassin's Creed. But it could be that they're selling the company. It could be Nate the Hate also said that Assassin's Creed Mirage and this new one, Shadows, is going to be on the Switch too.
Yeah.
So that's also a possibility.
I mean, it's only a month, so it's probably just bug fixes at this point.
I would say so.
So I wouldn't say it's like anything major.
I want that game to be good.
Yeah.
So I'm not even into Assassin's Creed.
Right.
But I want this one specifically to be good because I want to play it.
Yeah.
And so take as much time as you need. Because if you're going to get me to play an Assassin's Creed game after, what, a decade and a half of not playing Assassin's Creed games, then you take your time to make it good.
Yeah. It's interesting how, like, nobody knows what they're doing over there. To the point where, like, their investors, the people giving them money, don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah.
Like, I am once again amazed by how stupid Yves Guillemot is in, like, running this company. Like, I cannot run a video game company. I do not have the credentials to do that. I am not a smart businessman. I can probably run Ubisoft better than he can.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, there's like, there's some at this high level of like running a company, you must be making a lot of decisions not based on the quality of the product, but based on the return that you're gonna get.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you want to have some value in what you're putting out there. You have to know what is making a good product and what the people actually want. And it seems like they've lost touch so much.
They've lost touch hard.
They're so drastically off course from so many years ago. It's been so long since they've had a game that was worth anything.
Yeah. Well, they did. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Like, everybody loved that game. And you know what they did? Canceled the sequel, moved everyone on to other stuff.
Yeah. I think that game was too small in scope for them to see the value in it.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Ubisoft stuff in any awards like in a long time.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, no. At least once a show. I gotta like put a glass case over the tweet. Oh, we never did the backlog.
We never did the backlog.
Backlog! 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 Oh, we didn't forget. We never forget.
Yeah, no, we always do the backlog on the WULFF Den Podcast. The backlog, in case you don't know, is a segment of the WULFF Den Podcast where we go through our entire video game collection of over 977 games. Every game we ever bought, we put into a little Excel spreadsheet over here. And today we're going to pick one at random and talk about it, regardless of whether or not we've played it.
$6.99.
$6.99.
Almost nice.
$6.99, and that is Star Wars Outlaws for the PlayStation 5. Yes.
Oh boy.
Speaking of a Ubisoft game, now this is not fair.
Why is it PlayStation 5?
Because I got the PlayStation 5 version for Christmas, and I haven't gotten around to playing it yet because I'm trying to finish Indiana Jones before I go into Outlaws.
Okay, well, I played like 10 hours of this game.
Right.
So I feel pretty I feel like I could speak on it enough. Like I don't normally, like, these days I'm not putting 10 hours into games anymore. I feel like I'm in the middle of the game.
Right.
Like I'm 10 hours in and I feel like there's still a lot more that I need to do.
Right.
But it's strange because I don't like Ubisoft.
Right.
We just got done shitting all over Ubisoft on the podcast, talking about how they haven't been making good decisions lately. And I've been kind of falling off of Star Wars. I was a huge Star Wars fan, and I haven't been liking some of the recent stuff. I kind of really like this game. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I know it's not a great game.
Right.
Like, I'm playing it and I can see the flaws all over the place. And I understand why people don't like it that much and why it didn't review that great. I would probably give it like a solid B, but I'm enjoying myself playing it. So I am not regretting putting the time into it.
Right. That's the general consensus I'm hearing from like reading around on the internet and listening to podcasts and stuff, is like, it's not like the greatest game. It's not like a very well polished game, but there's a lot of fun to be had inhabiting, this corner of the Star Wars universe. They actually did like a fairly decent job of like recreating the universe of Star Wars in video game form, and like the fact that it's open world and you could go anywhere on the planet and like go into space and travel like that. It's like very exciting and interesting to people.
Yeah, so it's open world, but feels limited because it's sandboxy. There's a sandbox on each world, that you go on to. I guess it's kind of very similar to Starfield in that way, but Starfield I feel like is a little more open than
that's because that's the intent of Starfield.
But I don't mind it here because it's a Ubisoft game and it's got a linear story.
Yeah.
And I just want to do the story. I don't want to do side quests and stuff. So you're experiencing these worlds, so it's cool to go to these different worlds, but it feels like it serves a story. It feels like you're on rails a little bit, and I'm fine with that. This game, to me, feels like an old Star Wars game where it's a unique story that's tangential to the movies.
Yes.
With its own character. You get to experience the worlds of Star Wars. And there's some weird jank and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm into it.
Yeah.
The story is like, okay. The beginning is like, it kind of just throws you in, and I'm not like attached to the characters at all.
Right.
Also, like the story, like, there's a character on the box art. It's like a robot guy.
Yeah.
He just appears and then he's your guy. He just shows up and he's your guy all of a sudden. And it's very jarring. It's like 3 or 4 hours into the game, and then it's like, here he is. So I wouldn't say the story is like that great, but you're in the Star Wars world and it feels good. It even looks good. Here's a shot where you got a nice little J.J. Abrams anamorphic flare. The game defaults to like a cinescope aspect ratio.
Yeah.
21:9 aspect ratio. Yeah. And that's on purpose to make it look cinematic, but also I think it helps some rendering a little bit.
Yeah.
It crops a little bit.
Yeah.
I turn that off because I want the full screen.
Yeah.
Also, I'm playing on handhelds, and when you crop more, it just
makes it worse.
Right.
Yeah.
I again am liking what I'm playing. Also, I'll note that this game is a lot more of a stealth game than they let on.
Yeah.
It seems, I don't know where the stealth came in development, but the stealth feels like it could be fleshed out a lot more.
Right.
Especially if they're going to focus so much on the stealth. I feel like maybe they made the stealth so that it drags out the game a little bit.
Maybe.
But pretty much every encounter I'm in this game, or every time you go to like an outpost, I'm stealthing the whole way through. And it's a little janky, like the line of sights are weird and the takedowns are bizarre, but I kind of like that. It feels like a GameCube game.
Yeah. I do know they fixed the stealth a lot, like with the recent updates. They actually removed the mission where if you get spot, it's an instant game over.
So yeah, there's a lot of missions where if you get spotted, the mission's over.
Yeah.
And they just removed the requirement.
Yeah.
Which is really, that's like a big game mechanic that they just changed.
Yeah.
Which is something I haven't heard of in a big profile game like this. But I'm for that. I mean, having different ways to tackle a situation, I think, is helpful to everybody.
Yeah.
And I could see people getting tired of the stealth. But I like stealth games. So that's, I think, why I like this game.
Yeah. One of the reasons why I'm excited to play it is because of the attention to detail they put in it. I heard somewhere that like, if you like when you get on Tatooine, if you know the movie well enough, you can go to the cantina just by following the streets accurately to how they did in the movie. It's like stuff like that like really interests me in like getting involved in the world of Star Wars, because that's what everybody wants to do. They just want to be part of the Star Wars world, and it seems like it's the closest anyone's ever come. Not that's as close as anyone's ever come to doing it, but like in the modern day.
Yeah, no,
it's like as good as Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor is, like that's more about like one person's story, not as much as like being a part of the world. This one is specifically about being a part of the world.
I'm also pretty sure I haven't seen a lightsaber in the game.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Which is also good.
I'm down with that. Right on screen right now, there's like a weird card game that like it's like poker and you're betting against other people. And I kind of played this for like an hour.
Yeah.
I was like kind of really into this. I think I might have 10 to 12 hours in the game.
Yeah.
And there's a point where you get your little robot counterpart, and then you have to go to 3 different planets and do a bunch of missions on the 3 different planets.
Yeah.
And you can choose them in whatever order you want. But they put Tatooine as the last one.
Right.
So I just did them in the order that they had them in. And I'm just now at Tatooine.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm excited to finally explore Tatooine.
Yeah.
But I think I kind of stopped playing because I want to sit down and have a good, decent time with Tatooine. Like I'm anticipating that. But a lot of times I'll put like 10 hours into a game, I'll put it down, never play it again.
Yeah.
But this is one that I constantly think about wanting to go back into. The biggest reason I think I'm not going back into it is because of Ubisoft. What's it called? Connect? Ubisoft Connect?
Yeah. You had to buy it through them, right? Because it wasn't on Steam at the time.
It wasn't on Steam, so I had to buy it through Ubisoft Connect.
Yeah.
So I have to use their launcher. And their launcher sucks ass. And if you log in with if you log on to Ubisoft Connect on a different device, it kicks you off the last device.
Yeah.
So I have to like authenticate it every single goddamn time I want to play the game on whatever device I want to play it on. So that's literally what is deterring me from going to Tatooine is just opening Ubisoft Connect again.
And I think that was honestly a big factor in why the game didn't sell very well. Apparently this game was a failure, which if you were to tell me like a year ago that a Star Wars game was going to be a financial failure, like I would have hit you for being stupid.
Yeah, big one like this, yeah.
Yeah, but like apparently it didn't sell very well. Part of the reason was because you're launching it on PC and you're not launching it on Steam. You're launching it on a proprietary storefront that like only your games are on, no one else's. So why bother?
So they put it on Steam now.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hear that it runs pretty good on Steam Deck and stuff. But wait, am I confusing it with Prince of Persia they launched on Steam?
Yeah, no. Outlaws, it's either on Steam or it's coming to Steam.
There's a Steam page.
Yeah. It's
$70.
Yeah, you can buy it. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, it's on Steam. Good. So get it on Steam.
Get it on Steam.
Maybe you'll make it to Tatooine.
Yeah. But
did you know that I'm in this game? There's a cameo.
Right
there I am. I'm an extra.
Oh, hey, look at that. Oh, yeah, there he is.
I had to shave my beard.
Yeah, it took you a while to grow back. Another thing about this game is its place in the Star Wars timeline. It takes place in between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, which is an interesting time period because the last time that was featured in a Star Wars video game was Shadows of the Empire. And that's like, very important in our lives. So like,
yeah, that's why I like this game.
Yeah.
It's taking me back to the time when it's taking me back to a time when these Star Wars games had a lot of story. They were really janky and technically bad games.
Right.
But you just liked being in the world.
Yes, there was a charm and a uniqueness to them.
This has that.
Yes.
This has all that.
Yes.
And so I'm into it.
So I really want to play this game. I'm not trying to rush my way through Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, but like as soon as I'm done with that game, I am popping in Star Wars Outlaws and I'm going to sit down and enjoy it as best I can. Because like this looks like, a Star Wars game that can be enjoyed by anyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a shame that it sold. It didn't sell as well as it did. It's a shame that like, I'm a Star Wars optimist, and even I have to admit that like that the franchise is in like a very like weird, not good state right now. And like this could have been the game that united everybody, and instead it's just like another Star Wars product lost in a sea of other Star Wars products.
Yeah, I hope we see more stuff like this. I would like them to be fleshed out a little more.
Yeah.
I hope Ubisoft seems to learn the wrong lessons from their failures.
Yes.
And it's sad, but we might not see stuff like this. We might just get another fucking live service Battlefront type thing.
Yeah. I mean, the best we can expect at that point is maybe the main character appears in another Star Wars thing. Because I don't think Ubisoft owns her. Like, that would be owned by Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
But
I don't like the main characters. It's not their fault. Like, it's just, I think the characters aren't that likable. I don't think. And I don't think it's the fault of like the actress or anything. I just think that the writing is like just okay.
Got it.
But again, I'm just enjoying being in the world. And if I don't mind being her in the world. It's just when there's like a cutscene, I'm like, oh, here we fucking go. But anyway, I recommend the game if you're a Star Wars fan, especially an old school Star Wars game, because this feels like an old school Star Wars game.
Right.
So I would recommend it. Maybe see if it's on sale. And don't get it on Ubisoft Connect, for the love of God. It's on Steam now and all.
Or a console like an adult.
Yes. So thanks for watching the backlog, everybody.
Yeah.
See you later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Podcast people, stay.
We're going to talk about the D.I.C.E Awards.
Yes, we'll plow through this really quick.
The 28th annual D.I.C.E Awards. If you thought Jeff Keighley's award show was dumb, you're probably right, because these are like the awards people actually.
The Greg Miller
Awards. Yes, these are awarded by developers. Like, the developers actually get together and like nominate and vote on who wins. It's not a nebulous collection of like journalists.
This is like a more artsy award. This feels more legitimate.
This is more like gaming's Oscars.
Yeah, and less of a spectacle.
Yes.
And so if this is the one everybody points to when they when people inevitably are like, "Oh, the Game Awards is all trailers. It's too much spectacle and not enough like actual appreciation of the games." The D.I.C.E Awards is literally what you're describing.
Yes. And, it will be streamed on IGN on February 13th. So at 8 p.m. Pacific. So there you go. You can watch it. It's available to watch.
Oh, I thought it happened already.
No, not yet. They just announced the nominees.
Oh, okay. I was seeing posts of last year's.
Okay.
That's what's confusing me. Because I think Stella Chung said something about IGN, and apparently now she is no longer with. She like got fired from IGN or something.
Well, anyway, if you scroll all the way down, they save Game of the Year till the very end. It's similar to the Game Awards with one notable exception. We have Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Helldivers 2, and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Interesting.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle actually got nominated for a lot of categories this year for DICE.
That probably missed the cutoff for the Game Awards.
Yes, that's a big thing with the Game Awards. It's like if your game comes out in December, you're not getting nominated, which sucks, because then like there's a lot of times where like Far Cry 3 came out in December. That could have been a Game of the Year nominee.
Yeah, and then by the next year, it misses.
Yeah, like Jeff Keighley is not going to nominate Indiana Jones next year.
Yeah, he's going to,
which is a shame, because like it's worthy of an award.
Yeah,
maybe not Game of the Year, but like certainly something.
Yeah. Also, that means No Metaphor. That was another nominee for the Game Awards, and Final Fantasy
Rebirth,
whatever the hell was also.
Yeah.
So I think this is a pretty reasonable mix of games that we have here. Oh, Helldivers was not one of the Game Awards.
That's true. Yeah,
for Game of the Year. I'm hoping we see a Balatro sweep, baby.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that Balatro what's this 1000x resist.
Achievement in game direction, 1000x resist, Animal Well, Lorelei and the Laser Eye, Riven, and thank goodness you're here.
I don't know this game. Looks cool as hell though.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I'm hoping this time maybe we'll finally get a Balatro sweep. Oh, UFO 50 is nominated for Outstanding Achievement in Game Design.
There you go.
That's cool. I want to see more UFO 50. Monument Valley 3 was nominated for mobile game. Okay, that makes sense. UFO 50 not for independent game? That's so weird. There's a lot more indie games and stuff in this, which is great. I might actually watch this.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. So there you go.
What day is it?
It is February 13th.
Okay. That's a Thursday.
Yeah, at 8 p.m. Pacific. From the Aria Resort in Las Vegas.
That's 8 p.m. Pacific is late.
Like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, that's very late.
You don't go to bed until like 4 in the morning.
True.
Anyway.
Last news: Xbox developer direct to reveal new entry in the legendary Japanese franchise. Do we know the franchise?
No. Next week's Xbox Developer Direct will stream reportedly feature a new entry in an iconic Japanese game series. That is according to Windows Central report covering Microsoft's anticipated gaming plans for 2025. Xbox confirmed its next Developer Direct live stream will take place on January 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK. According to Microsoft, the Direct will include a visit to Compulsion Games in Montreal to learn about South of Midnight, Montpellier-based Sandfall Interactive to look at Claire Obscure Expedition 33, and its studios in Richardson, Texas for more information on Doom: The Dark Ages. The live stream will also visit a surprise location to another studio's brand new game. Sources indicate that it is a new entry in a legendary Japanese IP that has decades of history and should make a lot of fans happy, Windows Central reported on Monday. Indeed, Microsoft has won some strong support from the region lately, with studios like Square Enix for Final Fantasy, HoYoverse for Genshin Impact, and Sega Atlas for Persona, and we suspect this new game will help further that trend, the site added. It was recently claimed that Square Enix is planning on bringing the Final Fantasy VII Remake to Xbox and Switch 2 this year, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to both platforms in 2026.
I have a feeling it's going to be a game I'm not very interested in.
I heard a rumor because Sega. This was news. I didn't put it in the show notes because for obvious reasons. But Sega recently refiled the trademark patent for Echo the Dolphin. So I saw somebody say that was the franchise, and let me tell you, I got mad.
Why mad?
Because Echo the Dolphin
is bad.
Sucks.
It sucks. But I mean, that's an IP that I would be fine for them to revive.
They would have to do something really fucking cool with Echo the
Yeah,
Dolphin.
they could, though. They could do something cool with Echo the Dolphin.
Like what?
A shmup?
Yeah, maybe. A chill shmup.
Give it to an indie developer and make them do something wacky with it.
It's not going to be Echo the Dolphin.
No, it's what imagine.
But imagine.
Echo the Dolphin is one of those games that everybody pretends to like.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, but because it's a cool IP.
It's a cool idea.
It's a cool idea, yeah. And then you play the game and you're like, oh, water levels are bad, and this is one big water level.
You're playing a mammal that like has to breathe, so like you have to like find air holes every once in a while. The game was made exceptionally hard because it was back in the day where like you could rent games and like nobody wanted to make games easy so you can beat it in a weekend. So
Underscore says still waiting for the new Crazy Taxi. Did you see the GDQ speedrun with the live band? Yes.
I heard about that.
That was cool.
That was he got around copyright.
Got around copyright?
Yeah.
Good idea. I didn't think about that. I did see that. That fucking ruled.
Yeah.
Apparently they do that in Pennsylvania. I didn't know that.
Really?
I mean, it's different. You know, there's summer games done quick. There's awesome games done quick. And then there's like regular games done quick. And the last one that just happened last week was in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Echo the Dolphin is really good on Sega CD, but terrible on Genesis. I don't believe you.
I mean, like the Sega CD versions of games are like usually more expanded, so maybe it's better. I don't know. I've heard the Dreamcast one is odd.
I'll give it a go. Anyway, tweet of the week. You know, it was actually gonna be the Crazy Taxi.
Oh yeah,
thing because I saw it in a tweet. But no, it's this. It's from Cock Hero, and it says, "No, it's fine. I just didn't think it'd be blue." And it's the Five Guys logo on a storefront that's blue for some reason.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Feels weird.
It's very weird. I don't like that.
Also, 162,000 likes on this tweet. Sometimes there's like a strip mall and they have weird regulations on the signs that you have to put out. Like they have to all match. And in this case, they probably all have to be blue.
I know there's that one McDonald's in Sedona, Arizona that has to be painted like turquoise and beige to match like the desert aesthetic of the town. So it's not like the typical red and yellow that McDonald's is supposed to be.
I found another house McDonald's out east.
Really?
Yeah. There's a house. There's a McDonald's that's in a house.
Yes.
That's where is it? It's like in Queens almost.
Yeah, it's on the border of like Nassau.
It's on Jericho Turnpike, right? Yeah. It's just a house, but it's a McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's a big house.
It's like a mansion.
It looks like a historical house, but it's a McDonald's.
Yeah.
And there's another one that's all the way out east somewhere. And there's a Burger King that's kind of a little bit out east.
Oh, really?
That also kind of looks like a house. It's cool looking. There's a couple of cool looking house fast food restaurants around here. I want to say it's like on the North Fork.
Yeah.
House McDonald's? The McDonald's in my office park is green to match stuff. Anyway, we had notifications.
Okay.
Hideo Benjamin with 32 months woke up from my fever to catch a minute and resub. Can't wait to watch the VOD later. Peace. Feel better. Take a nap. Nintendo for the 18 months. Their website says other platforms to be announced. That was 30 minutes ago. What were we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, UFO 50 maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Nintendo, I got a notification on my phone that you followed me on Instagram. I don't know what account, but it came to my phone for some reason. Just thought you should know.
The Denton House is a historic building in New Hyde Park, New York. That's West Nassau County. That is currently a McDonald's restaurant.
I can pull up a picture.
Yeah.
There she is.
That's the thing. Like, this is technically a historic landmark. And it's a fucking McDonald's.
There's the tables. And you can go eat upstairs.
Yeah.
There's a random guy outside.
This house was built in 1795. This is one of the oldest standing buildings on Long Island. And it's a McDonald's.
I want to see the one that's out east. I mean, this is a historic house, so it's not going to compete with the Denton.
Right.
I
know there's like a lot of like weird ass McDonald's out there. There's one McDonald's, I don't know where it is, but like it's actually like fine dining where like you sit down, they take your order and like they go and like you have to wait and then they bring it out. Like the waiters are like in like suits and they bring it out in, like silver platters and stuff.
I would like to do that.
That would be fun. Yeah.
I don't know if they still do it, but you know about
White Castle.
White Castle would do this on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day's coming up.
I always
Make
wanted
your reservations now.
Always wanted to do that.
I did it once.
Yeah.
And it sucked. But it was still really interesting to do, and I'm glad I did it because I get to talk about it. But like you have people who like just work the fries.
Yeah.
Being your waiter. It's like really weird and bizarre.
The skill set isn't there.
I think they walked up to us and she went, "Yeah?" with her little notepad.
Yeah.
So they had no
skills
to serve at that place. Anyway, we're gonna talk to you guys.
Yes.
Right now.
You guys want to talk about fast food or last week's WULFF DEN podcast over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/WULFF DEN Podcast.
Oh, we got Lucario Guild who says, Bob nailed it. I love it when you guys say that. Bob nailed it. People disappointed by the specs are just being ridiculous. Talking about the Switch 2, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Do they not realize that up until the 2023, basically every AAA game worth playing could also be played on a PS4? The fact this system might be close to the power of a PS4 Pro or Steam Deck is huge for Nintendo. Yeah, I think that any sort of spec, but look, like the last 3 Nintendo consoles did not have a, like, the GameCube to the Wii, no spec bump at all.
Yeah.
It was the same console.
Yeah.
Or the same power. The Wii U to the Switch, the same power. Nothing changed.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're getting a spec bump at all is great. But I will say that I'm starting to play games. For the last 3 or so years, I haven't played a game that I've had issues running, like on low-powered hardware or my handhelds or whatever. I'm starting to hit that point where there's games where I'm like noticing some stuff that I would like to have been better.
Yeah.
That being said, not going to be a problem for Nintendo because any game that's first of all, if a game will want to try to be on the Switch too, and the fact that there's more power to do that will give them more incentive to do it. But they don't really need that because that's not why you're buying a Switch too.
Yeah.
Buy a Steam Deck if you want the power.
I also think too, though, like everybody says they want more power and they want the best graphics, but when the numbers come out, it's always the opposite beat. You know, the lower power machines are always the ones that win the generation. More and more, we're seeing people less and less willing to upgrade to the newer systems. The PS4 is still outselling the PS5. The PS5 is not caught up to the PS4 in any way, shape, or form. Games are coming out on platforms as low powered as a Switch, as high powered as like $10,000 gaming PCs.
Yeah.
So no matter where you get your game from, like there's gonna be a platform for you. The raw horsepower is mattering less and less, just in terms of like what people actually want out of video games.
A lot of people are upset. I mean, we talked about this already. People are upset because like it might be a little more powerful than a Steam Deck, if at all. It might not be any more powerful than a Steam Deck. Steam Deck sold like 3 million units.
Yeah.
And the Switch sold 150. Yeah. So like fucking no one cares. Yeah. No one cares. No one's comparing this to a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Your mom walking into Walmart is going to be like, "Oh, Nintendo has a new thing." She's not going to be like, it's not as powerful as a Steam Deck. I'm going to buy a Steam Deck. Nameless Silent says, Joy-Con mouse mode looks like Mario Paint is back on the menu, boys. Mario's going to have an Office suite.
Yes.
He's going to have his own
Paint,
version of Sheets.
Word, Excel, PowerPoint.
Yep.
Can't wait to do my PowerPoint presentations in Mario PowerPoint.
Yeah. Super Like Potato says, this was my first live pod in 2 years since I started my oil rig job. Jesus Christ. And I gotta say, I so badly miss Will's dumb fucking Wolf Den live intros that barely anyone understood half the time. Also, Bob, keep the camera on both of you at the end so we get to see Will wave bye at us. Okay, I'm sorry.
I did have some really good, dumb Wolf Den live intros.
He still has really dumb, good Wolf Den live tweets.
Yes.
Whenever we...
Follow me on, the Blue Sky or the Threads. Probably not Threads anytime soon, for much longer, I must say. But you follow me on the Blue Sky. I still put out them random ass song lyrics with words changed to be about WULFF DEN Podcast.
Yeah. So go there.
I got a good one today.
Go there for your dumb Will. It's a me. Eric says PlayStation has pisser. Switch 2 has shitter. Super scaled hex thread resolution. That can't be real. My uncle works at Nintendo. You can trust me. I would not make it up while I'm bored at work. Okay.
I kind of do hope that's what it's called.
I'm calling it that.
Yeah.
I might steal that, actually.
There you go.
Otaku Sam 96. I bet Sabrina Carpenter isn't even a good carpenter.
To be honest with you, she's not even my favorite carpenter. There's another carpenter who has a special hold in my heart. Do you want me to tell you about this carpenter?
John.
Yeah, it's John.
John Carpenter. That's the only other carpenter I can think of.
Well, no, the joke is like Jesus.
I thinking of Jesus. No, but I know you're not thinking of Jesus is the thing. Uh-oh, Nintendo CS. What is this?
Oh boy. Breaking news.
Is this real?
What?
What is CS? This is official, but what is Nintendo CS?
China?
Customer service? It has a gold star next to it. I mean,
yeah.
It's in Japanese.
We have confirmed that the existence of an unauthorized service that replaced functions such as online play for Wii U, which ended service on April 9th, 2024. Please refrain from using such services as they may pose unexpected security risks.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Party's over, everybody.
All right.
They found out about the modding.
That replaced functions such as online play. Oh, no. This was 8 o'clock today.
Yeah.
Oh, so they found Pretendo.
Yeah.
Which sucks. Why would... Here's what I'm gonna walk you through my thought process.
Okay.
Here. I'm assuming they looked into it and tried to say, how can we stop this?
Yeah.
Like, how can we throw them a cease and desist?
Mm-hmm.
Pretendo doesn't take any money. There's also legislation that specifically says if the online system's taken down, people can make their own online system. So Nintendo probably realized that they have no legal ground to stop it in America. So, well, this is Japanese, but they probably saw that there's no legal ground to stop it. So this is their statement to say, this is as best as they can do. Is say, don't use this because there's security leak. And you know what? I mean, it would be less secure than Nintendo's own thing, but who fucking cares?
Yeah.
People who are playing Wii U online and going through that whole rigmarole to get their Wii U back online using Pretendo, those people are going to know better than you and your stupid security risks. On top of that, Centro Leaks is in the replies, and there's a render there that looks like it has an optical sensor on the right Joy-Con as well.
Okay.
There's a hole there. Or it could be, again, it could be a little Jello.
Right.
Could dribble out a little gelatin for you to nibble on while you're gaming. So I apologize to whoever I was just yelling at, saying I have never seen a render with the right Joy-Con optical sensor. Oh, my thoughts and prayers to Pretendo. They've been found. Customer service, apparently this.
Yeah, it's their Japanese customer service.
Okay. All right, fine. Was that everything? No. Yeah, that is, okay. That's
it.
We're in the chat real quick. I hope the dock doesn't need a sensor bar again. Someone was saying the optical sensor was IR and there would be like a mirror in the Joy-Con grip.
That's what I thought. That was how it would pass information between like the Joy-Con and the system itself.
Well, for Wii emulation.
Right.
It doesn't need that to pass information.
No, yeah.
I think emulating with just motion controls would be fine enough. Like it doesn't it doesn't. I mean, they took the IR sensor. They took the IR sensor off the front because it fucking doesn't need it because the motion controls are good enough. What about the Legion Go S? Game changer or not? We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
I think it is a game changer in that SteamOS is on it. And it's apparently a partner, an exclusive partnership.
Exclusive?
That's what I heard, yeah. Didn't we talk about it last week?
We didn't talk about it being exclusive.
I heard that.
Because we talked about they were opening up SteamOS for other platforms.
Yes. So my understanding is that it is an exclusive partnership with Lenovo.
Okay.
But it will be published and open for you to put on whatever you want.
Okay.
But if a company wants to promote their product with SteamOS, they cannot.
Okay.
And only Lenovo is allowed to do it.
Got it.
It could be that the other company just has to pay a licensing fee. Maybe the information I got was wrong, but my understanding is that Lenovo has an exclusive partnership to promote their product with SteamOS on it already. What was that big ass handheld you quote we retweeted? That is the Nitro Blaze 11 that we
from Acer.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. By the way, was it true that the Acer Blaze 11, that's the one, at CES was just a laptop with a discrete graphics chip like a laptop?
No, it was a handheld. It was a full-on handheld.
I mean, it was. That's what these are. That's what these. That's what these handhelds are. They're just laptops. I mean, the ones with the Z1 Extreme chip, that's not a laptop chip. That's a chip made for handhelds.
Yeah.
But the Acer Blaze 11 uses a laptop chip, but that's not unheard of.
Yeah.
Like Aya Neo does that all the time. It's possible there's an Acer laptop that is extremely similar, but I don't think that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Bob, did you see they released a physical version of Balatro? The card game. Like it's a physical card game. I did see that. But it was on TikTok and I thought it was a scam, so I didn't pay attention to it.
That's like when they released a board game of that Netflix show, The Queen's Gambit. You know, the show about chess. Like, isn't the board game just chess?
Oh yeah, that's dumb.
So like, isn't Balatro just poker? It's a deck of
It's
cards.
Chess 2.
Yes, the sequel.
Did I tell you I've been playing Tetris Effect Connected?
Which one is that?
The one with all the particle effects. It makes you feel like you're on acid.
Okay, I know Tetris Effect is. Is it Connected a different version or?
Great question. I just thought it was one game, and that's just the full name. Okay, so there's Tetris Effect.
Tetris Effect. Connected.
A version for Xbox Series X, Xbox One,
Windows,
and also Switch. I have it on Switch.
Okay.
The Switch port was released on October 8th. This version includes a new cooperative multiplayer mode.
Oh.
Okay, I didn't know it was cooperative. As well as the new competitive mode that pays homage to the first console version of Tetris with its simplified visual style and stricter rules similar to those used during the classic Tetris World Championship. I didn't know that. Connected was released on Steam. So it's just it's like a game of the year. What did you call it?
Game of the year.
Like a game of the year edition. It's awesome. It's reminding me a lot of Balatro, where like cause I was comparing Balatro to Tetris, where like it feels like a puzzle game that is like different and like the most unique thing, and it's such a simple idea, but it makes it really nice. Tetris Effect is the same thing, where it's like the same simple idea, but it just feels really nice and satisfying, and it makes you want to play it over and over again. I've been playing it on my Retroid Pocket 5.
Oh wow!
It runs like shit, but I've been liking it a lot.
Nice.
It's an old game. I didn't know it had a cooperative mode. What happened was I was playing it to test the Retroid Pocket 5.
Yeah.
And then Hannah likes Tetris, so I was like, "You should try Tetris Connected. Tetris Connected, it's sick." And she's like, "Oh, whatever, leave me alone." And then she played it, and she really liked it.
Yeah.
But it kept crashing on her, so I gave her my Ein Odin 2 Mini, and then I play. Instead of moving the save file over, I played all the way up until where she was.
Yeah.
And then I started to like it. So I'm playing it on the Retroid Pocket 5, and she's playing it on the Odin 2 Mini.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. It's $40, though.
Jeez.
Anyway. What else? It even has a 3v1 boss mode.
Damn.
With one player being the boss. Oh, like that sounds
sick.
Cool. An asymmetric multiplayer mode? That's awesome.
You should lend your Tenant GBA video cartridges for Nathaniel Brady for his video.
Nathaniel Bandy? What's he doing?
Bandy. I don't know.
What's he doing for a video?
Is he doing a GBA movies?
I'll just give him the ROM.
Yeah.
Be more than happy to do that. Joe Changs, thanks for the 3 months. Love your podcast. Hope to share some Colombian coffee with you sometime. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Bob, do you think this rumor, prominent leaker? Yeah. Oh, wait. Prominent leaker claims Switch 2 is on the black market.
I mean, probably.
Does Austin John have 7 copies of it? Because then we know for sure that it's out there on the black market. Also, Will, what are your thoughts on Cynthia Erivo wanting to play Storm in the MCU?
I mean, yeah, she'd be a good Storm. She was great. She was great in Wicked. She was the green one.
Right. I understand. Bob, do you have any tech you are most excited about coming this year? I'm so excited to have a spoon that simulates salt in my soup.
Yes. Instead of just putting a little bit more salt in your soup.
Right. Why would I do that when I can get a $150 spoon that puts it in there for? Nathaniel Banny basically did something different and review all the shows on the GBA video cartridge. Did he do the video already?
Or is it like a series?
Yeah.
I mean, because if that's the case, yeah, just send them the files.
Wood has one, but he knows better this time. Wood has a Switch 2.
Again?
Wood has a Switch 2, and he's going to make a video that he has the Switch 2, and then he's going to make another video that he
Right.
faked having the Switch 2, and then at the end of the video, he's going to say, JK, it was a real Switch 2.
Nathaniel Bandy did a 2.5-hour video. I watched every GBA video cart. Here's why.
Oh, well, it's too late. I can't give him the game. I can't give him
well,
the game.
You can give it to him and be like, and he can title the next video like, I thought I was done.
Yes, that would be good because it's a 2.5-hour commitment to watch all of Tenet as Game Boy Advance video cartridges. Maybe I'll DM him just a Dropbox link and be like, you're not done yet. All right. Thanks for being here. Goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for chatting with us. As always, the WULFF DEN Podcast every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/WULFFDEN and youtube.com/WULFF DEN Podcast. If you can't catch the show for any reason at all, we always put the archive version up over on youtube.com/WULFF DEN Podcast, so you can go and check us out over there on demand whenever you want. But if you prefer to listen to us rather than watch us, you can do that as well, because we're also an audio podcast on any and every podcast service such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, Audible.com, Pocket Cast. Am I missing one? Probably. But no matter where you get the show from, folks, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us, because that helps us with placement on all of those respective platforms.
Sorry. I'm rating Andy Cortez. He is streaming Hyperlight Breaker. I'm very interested in this game. They were streaming it on the Kind of Funny channel the other day with the devs. This is in early access right now. It is, remember Hyperlight Drifter?
Yes.
It was like a top-down Zelda-like game. Yeah. This is a multiplayer Breath of the Wild type game.
Okay.
But there's guns and shit.
Okay.
So it looks cool. It looks really cool.
Got it.
So anyway, go watch it. And I will see you probably on Thursday. Maybe we'll have some news about Switch 2 by then. Okay, now you gotta see Will saying goodbye. Bye.
Bye.